Welcome to another episode of Bird Gang Nation Sports Talk. I'm your host, Bird Gang 31. And today we have a very special guest on the show today, Mr. All Pro DT, Mr. Big Corey Simon. Welcome to the show, my guy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate you having me.
Nice. Now, let the fans know what you've been up to, my guy. What's been
Uh,
going on in the world of Simon?
Man, just been a busy time. I mean, back in December, the governor here in the state of Florida asked me to come on as the CEO of Volunteer Florida. And so I've been traveling a little bit and really trying to figure out ways that we can put resources in the hands of nonprofit organizations across the state. And so it's kept me busy, but really getting a chance to do something that's fulfilling, always fun of really getting a chance to get back in the community and find ways to help, man. So it's been an exciting time for me.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's take a time trip back to your last year at Florida, heading into the draft, Mr. All-American.
Florida State. Let's get it right.
Florida State. My bad.
Yeah, get it
Florida
right.
State. How was it during draft time coming to the Birds?
You know what? For me, it was pretty uneventful, right? It was I'd had a couple trips during the whole process of getting out and seeing some of the teams leading up to the draft, and had a trip to Baltimore before I came to Philadelphia, and talking with Rex Ryan at the time as D-line coach, and he said, "Corey, I'd love to have you. You know, if you're there at 5, I'd love for you to be a part of this team, but I'm going to be fighting for you." And I was like, "All right, well, fantastic, fine." And then when I came out of my trip on a trip to Philly, I sat down with Coach Reed, and Andy said, he said, "Corey, I'm having a conversation with you that I'm not having with anybody else." And I trusted that. And he says, if you're there at 6, you're going to be an Eagle. And he asked me if I was all right with that. And I said, absolutely. And so the morning of the draft, I woke up and I saw that the Baltimore Ravens had picked up Sam Adams, big defensive lineman, the morning of the draft. And I said, all right, well, I'm not going to Baltimore. And so when 6 rolled around, Andy called me on the phone. He said, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Absolutely." So it was pretty uneventful. I didn't have to wait around, thankfully. Tremendous blessing having the opportunity to play for such a great players coach, and Andy Reid. Really loved that man. Just a straight shooter, and loved everything about playing in the city. Man, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, man. We loved you playing, man. You did a great job. You definitely caused some havoc back there. I think your rookie year, you led the team and broke the rookie record for sacks, didn't you?
For the Eagles, yeah, I did. It was it was one of those things, man, where Jim was just a lights out coach, man. I've really been fortunate to have some great coaches, and Jim was just one of the best of really putting guys in positions to succeed. And so I was fortunate enough to play with a system that he put us in, and then had guys like Brian Dawkins and Bobby Taylor and Al Harris and Troy Vincent, and the list goes on what that secondary was, that allowed us to really get after it. And it made it really hard on quarterbacks, man. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, man. I missed that defense, man. We always were putting that pressure on them.
Yeah.
Definitely a big difference from just finished with Schwartz. But Schwartz had an effective defense as well, man. How was it under Jim Johnson, man? How do you like that?
Jim was just a mastermind, man. He was, I look at Jim as one of those pioneers in the game, and folks that know, and Jim was that guy, right? It was the schemes. You had to be a student of the game in his system because we did so many different things, and it really changed from week to week, and I loved every minute of it, man. I loved getting after it. And Jim, he wasn't a guy that was going to sit back and prevent and only rush 4 and that just wasn't in him. And so we were attack, and it made it a lot of fun. And then more importantly than that, just the guys that staff really put around us, man, it was a recipe for success.
Yes. You had some really good players, man, with you on that line, man. We had Hollis Thomas, Hugh Douglas. Who was the other DT too? I mean, Hollis Thomas.
Me and Hollis, Darwin Walker, Paul Grassmanis. Just a great rotation. Sam Rayburn, the big truck driver.
Mhm.
We just had a really good rotation of guys that we can funnel in there and get pressure and play with a high motor, and so it was a lot of guys in that D tackle room, made it a lot of fun.
And how was those secondary, man? Like the new Eagle fans don't know about them good secondary.
Oh
Tell me
man, listen,
about play.
there was none better than the guys that were back there. Hall of Famer and Brian Dawkins, of course, and I think Al Harris and Bobby Taylor and Troy had terrific careers. And then just Blaine Bishop came in there, and Timmy Houck back there at safety, and man, we just had a very strong group, very put together group of guys that just love to play football and really love to get after it. And so that was a joy playing with those guys.
Who do you think was stronger, the D line or the secondary?
You know what? I think we both really made each other better. I take my hat off to the team that Andy put around us, because we really fed off of each other. Their ability to cover made it much easier for us to get after the quarterback. Jim's system, constantly bringing pressure, not knowing where that pressure was coming from, really just set us up for success. I think when you look at it, it's hard to say which unit was better than the other. I think we had great players all over the field on that defense, and even in that second level with our linebacker core, with Jeremiah Trotter and
Try.
Gardner and Carlos Emmons, and I mean we just had a really good, strong defensive group.
Nice, nice. Now, how you see the game changing from then to now? What are some of the biggest difference you noticed?
I think pace is the biggest change. Now with the no huddle stuff that they do now, all the RPO stuff that they do wasn't really a big part of the game back then. And so you've seen that the changes now, guys having to have those rotations, right? And I think we did a really good job of that. Guys didn't have to play 90 plays a game because we were able to get guys in there. And we started doing that, man, and it was. But that's the biggest change in it. Just the pace of the game now is sped up. You have to have much deeper teams. Guys are rotating a lot more. Because those games, man, shoot, it was unheard of to have 100 plays in a game, man. Now it's like that's commonplace, man. There's just so many plays, so many offensive snaps that are being had in these games. It's a change, and I think the players that have grown up in that system have adjusted well. Defenses have caught up to it a little bit. But in true NFL fashion or football fashion, folks want to come see points scored, and so
Right.
that it was created to put up the points. The rules are made so the offense has some success, so fans can engage. But I think by and large, I think defenses have started to catch up to it.
And back in those days, they always say that offense puts the crowd in the stands, but the defense wins championships. But I think the defense back in those days definitely helped put those crowd in the stands as well, man. As well. Give me some of your favorite moments of playing for Andy Reid, man. Big Red, we miss him here in Philly.
Oh man, well, y'all didn't miss him when you ran him out of town, so
The fans didn't do it.
No, man, but you get it. It's the business, right? It is. That's just the business of football. I think for me, getting a chance to see Andy finally win one a couple of years ago, in Kansas City. I ran down the street and just in the middle of the night, just yelling. I was so excited for him because I knew that of the coach that he was. I knew how he supported players. I've always been a big fan of his, and so to see that happen, nothing kind of tops celebrating that championship, and with Philadelphia winning it a few years ago, and that was a time that I don't think I'll forget, man. That was to see Doug, former teammate, win it all, man. That was and all the things came together the way they needed to. You got to be a little bit lucky to win a championship, and they had guys step up and really that was a lot of fun, man. But when I look back on my playing career, there's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to look back on. But I think just the relationships my time in that locker room in Philadelphia, the closeness, the bond that we had. A lot of guys, we spent a lot of time praying together, worshiping together. Those are the things that meant the most, man. Really getting in. You have a lot of guys that had some deficits as from a parenting standpoint, and I was a new dad, and not really having my father in the mix, kind of learning how to be a father, and so having those guys really speak into my life and teach me how to be a better father meant absolutely the world to me. And so it's really not the things that happen on the field. It was the things that are behind the scenes that the fans never know about or really kind of understand. Those are the things that, now at 44, you really appreciate more than any win I've ever had, being a part of that organization.
Okay, man. I feel you on that one, man. Life is very, very, a blessing that we get to wake up and have another day every day that we do get to. Um, so have you been checking out our team this year? Have you seen anything with Hurts? Have you seen that it is Hurts season here in Philadelphia? So we need to get your outtake on Jalen Hurts this year.
You know what? I think the young man has a bright future. I look at Jalen Hurts the way I looked at Donovan, really coming in, and Donovan really kind of changed the game for us in terms of a quarterback that can move around back there. But Donovan always kept his eyes down the field, always looking to make something happen. And so, I look for that in Jalen Hurts to take that next big step. Now getting some talent with Devontae Smith, Alabama, and interested to see kind of how that relationship comes together. I mean, they've known each other since college, so now having that kind of chemistry, and then Jalen Rager was hurt a lot last year, so now giving that another year to kind of get his body in the NFL shape. Hopefully the legs hold up, and he can go out there and have a successful season. I mean, that's the thing about this team. They've had so many injuries that have really stopped them from being all that they could be. I mean, last year when you had with Lane Johnson going down, and then Brandon Brooks going down, man, it was that's you lose a whole side of your line, and an all pro side, both of those guys. So there was just the injury part of it was a huge. It really hurt the chemistry of your team. So I'm looking forward to those guys getting healthy and getting out there and having some success.
All right. Well, give me a breakdown how you see our defensive line, because we definitely got a good one this year coming into the season. May
Well,
not be as good as you guys, but it's very comparable. Very comparable. How you see the breakdown going?
you know what? I really love this defensive line, man. I'm a big, huge Fletcher Cox fan, man. I really love watching him play the game. Just dominant, I mean, extremely dominant man on the field, man. It is a lot of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to Derek taking that next step, and Sweat, being a Seminole, taking that next step as well. So and it's a lot to be excited about this team. But it's going to take that day in and day out. You got to get a little bit lucky, staying out of the injuries, and so I'm always gonna root for them. And I think the upside is really high for this D line, especially.
You mentioned Sweat, man. I am a big Sweat fan, man. I
Yeah,
think it take him some time, get his knee healthy. You know what I'm saying? Get it back in the
yeah.
rotation first couple of years. I think he could take over the starting spot. How do you see that battle shaping up in training camp?
You know what? It'll be what it is. Like I said, the game has changed so much, man. It's not even about who the starter is,
Mm-hmm.
because those guys got to play. They're going to play. They're going to rotate. And so, it's just about being ready when your number's called. And so, I don't really get too much into who the starter and who the backup is. It's about, going out there. All of those guys are going to get several snaps, 20, 30, 40 snaps a game. So, you just, when your number is called, man, you got to get out there and produce. And so I'm looking forward to watching my fellow Seminole get after it. And, like you said, the knee, for him, it was always, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he could take that next step. And that's kind of how his career has been, man. He's been able to get that knee healthy. And he's had some really good success, especially getting after the passer. And so, I'm looking forward to watching those guys get after him.
Yeah, last year he had a pretty good year. I
Yeah.
love seeing Sweat get out there. We have big news today with the Eagles. We signed Steven Nelson, cornerback from Pittsburgh. You think that's going to be a big impact for our team at all?
Man, you know what? I hope so. It's that it's that cautious optimism plan. Playing in Philly, you start to, when you become a fan, when you're just I'm just a fan now. I'm no longer a player, so I don't have a whole lot of insight or input in how well he ends up playing, man. But we'll see. I sure hope so. I did see that signing a little bit earlier today, so I hope he can come in and support Darius Slay and be on the other side of that field helping out.
Nice. That's always good insight there. That's good insight. You said your former teammate was Peterson. How good of a job do you think he did besides the Super Bowl? Do you think he did a good job
coaching? Well, he did something that nobody else had done. So he did bring the city a championship. Right. So there was a Super Bowl there that, I know that, folks want it. It's not, what have you done for me lately? But, Doug had to deal with a bad hand of injuries, man. And golly, if you want to, the way offenses operate these days is it's all about, can you get the ball down the field? Right. It's all about that. I mean, folks say, hey, you got to run the ball. And why? Andy's been able to get to 2 Super Bowls and have the success he's had over in Kansas City, and they don't run the ball at all. I mean, so it's but you've got to have the weapons, and they just haven't had the weapons consistently. Guys have had to deal with a lot of injuries, and that's why I think you see with them bringing in Devontae, with the first pick in the draft, or with their first round draft pick, it's because they saw the need. They it's only so much you're going to do with some of those guys that kind of had to step up in positions, but they weren't number ones, right? So, and then your first pick from the year before goes down, and Rager, and him dealing with injuries. So, between not being able to block it up because your O line is hurt and have to, 3/4 of your O line go down with injury, and then having to deal with your receiving core being depleted, I think Doug did what he could with what he had, and that's just kind of the nature of the business, man. I think Doug will take some time off and do that thing. And if he decides to come back and coach, he didn't forget how to coach. He didn't become a bad coach after winning the Super Bowl. That's just not how this thing works. He's still a really good coach, but you have to get lucky. You have to have guys in place that are not injured or at least can play through those injuries, and he hadn't had that the last couple of years, and they just haven't been able to fix it in free agency, and those guys come in and stay healthy. So it's just been one curse after another on the injury front.
Did you guys notice back in your playing days? Did you guys think that Peterson could be a coach one day, or that's something that just kind of sprung out?
No, Doug was always that guy. Doug was always that guy. Doug just really understood the game, and then having that time with Andy as an assistant coach, I think really helped hone those things. But Doug was always, he was always a guy that understood scheme and understood how to attack defenses, and so he was like having another coach on the field. And his support of Donovan and all that Donovan was doing as a player.
Oh, nice. Yeah, McNabb, man. We miss him too, man. Miss him. You catch up with any of the old players from back in the day?
Yeah. Like I said, I still keep in touch. Paul Grassmanis and I are one of my best friends. Brian Dawkins and I keep in touch quite often. He's got all the stuff that he's doing with his nonprofit really fits into what I do here in the state of Florida with Volunteer Florida. And so there's that crossover there, and Hugh Douglas and Hollis, we talk quite often. So there's still a lot of guys that I keep in touch with. And, like I said, we were able to build something bigger than just football in that locker room. And so just the friendship and those things, they go on long after you start, you stop hearing the whistle.
My boy Richie said did the vet AstroTurf shorten your playing career?
You know what? I was fortunate enough I didn't have to play that many years on it. My gosh, man, that thing was awful. Leaving Florida State University, man, that was probably the biggest shocker to me. Walking into the vet, I'm like, man, I thought I was walking into the pros, and things just got worse. The vet was it was time to go, man. It was when we moved out of that, you add a little bit of longevity to the legs a little bit, man. But the vet was a tough place to play, just from a field standpoint. It wasn't the greatest venue, but the great thing is we understood how to play on it. We made it. It was hard for us. It was extra hard for teams to come in and play us.
Right.
So it was it was something else, no question.
If you could give any advice to any of our new rookies, DTs that we have, we got the guy from USC, Marlon, and then we got the third rounder Williams. And what kind of advice would you give these guys coming into the league this year?
Take care of your body. Take care of your body. The season's long. It's really long, and it will jump on you. That rookie wall is real. And so, guys like Hugh Douglas helped me get through. He's like, man, Corey, I need you to go to GNC, get this supplement. Making sure you're getting your sleep, man. You can't burn you can't burn the candle at both ends in this league for long. And just really taking care of the body and love every minute of it, man, because this thing doesn't last forever. So learn some lessons, take away what you need to take away from it, but enjoy it.
Nice. Do you see Fletcher Cox returning to form this year, and becoming that, second best DT in the league behind
him? Behind Aaron Donald? Yeah. That's a grown man to chase, man. That is a grown man to chase. Aaron Donald is he has got it going. But you know what, Fletcher plays his game extremely well. And guys still haven't figured it out. They still haven't figured out how to consistently block Fletcher. And that's because he's just so strong, so powerful, plays with great leverage, great hands. When it goes down here for Fletcher, it's when Fletcher's ready to walk off, man. But I think right now, man, he is such a dominant player. I love watching him play the game. It truly is something special to watch. Folks don't understand the difficulty in playing a position like defensive line, and that guy, he is a man child. He's a beast out there. I love it.
Who do you think is better in their prime? You or Fletcher Cox?
Oh man, I'm always gonna go with me. I ain't never betting against myself. Don't get it twisted. Listen, I the competitor in me is always going to, if you can't figure out a way to root for yourself and really, that's the thing that really separates players, right? It's a mentality thing. When you step out on the field, the day you stop believing that you're the best out there, man, it all goes downhill. And so, we were different players, totally different players. But I truly do respect what he does and what he is as a player. But I ain't ever betting against myself.
You're a beast, man. You're a beast. What about, how do you think about Hargraves? You think he got some potential there to be?
I think he does. I mean, big, strong body. I mean, he's just, the great thing about being a part of the team and the great teams that figure it out, or the championship level teams that figure it out. And I think when you look at the Milwaukee Bucks this year on the basketball front, you've got guys that have to play their part, right? And whatever role that is, play that part at the highest level you possibly can play it at. And so when I look at Hargraves, I mean, I think he's an exceptional talent. But he's got to play his part, right? You can't go out there and it's Hargraves and go out there and try and be somebody else. He's just got to be the best him he can be, and not chase after doing something that someone else does that doesn't fit who you are as a player. So love to see him, take that next step. Of course, he's got to be healthy and as healthy as possible. Nobody ever is really healthy in the NFL. Once you get in, man,
I
it's
get nicked up,
it's
definitely during the season.
it's a race. Every I try and explain it to people. Listen, every after every game on Sunday or Monday or whenever you play, it is a sprint to try and get back to 90%. Right?
Ooh,
That it's never getting to 100%. You won't see that day anymore. But it's a race to get back to 90% of from a health standpoint, from a mental standpoint. That's kind of how this thing pans out, man. It is a constant sprint from a health standpoint to okay, you walk out of a game. All right, man, I'm at 75% today. Sunday after a game, you're at 75%. Like, man, I got a little bit of time. Let me make up this time. Let me get to this cold tub. Let me get to this massage. Let me get, it's everything is trying to get back to that 90.
90. No one making it, not even the 95. He go that 90.
Listen, man, there's a lot of guys out there playing at 90.
Even starting the season, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, it is that's kind of how this thing is, trying to get your body back to being able to play it at a peak level. Is the name of the game.
Yeah. Hey, my boy Big V says, can I ask you about the locker room thing with T.O. and Hugh Douglas?
Man, you know what? You can ask. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Oh, you were in there?
No, I wasn't in the training room at the time. So families fight. Families fight, man. And I think a lot more was made out of that than what it was. We all come back together and we, figure this thing out, man. It's tough being in the locker room, man, because you're talking about a lot of alpha males, right? And
right.
So you're gonna have conflict sometimes, and I think as we get older, we learn how to have a little bit more conflict resolution and not having to resort to violence. But the name of the game for us is violence, right? So, I think cooler heads over the time is really panned out, and those guys I think are fine. And but I don't know, I don't know the odds and ends of kind of how it all jumped out. I try and stay out of the drama, man. That's not my deal.
Who was the toughest guy you went against?
Like, oh man,
across from you.
You know what? It really was the battles that I had at practice with Jermaine Mayberry, and it was if those that don't recall, Jermaine ended up being a Pro Bowler, and it was much deserved, man. He put in the work, man. Jermaine was just a really cerebral player, and really enjoyed those battles. He made me a better player, and so from a team standpoint, Jay Berry was the guy. And then outside of that, I had some great wars with golly, can't even remember his name anymore. But Will Shields, Will Shields, Hall of Famer. Another guy that had a couple really good games against in great competition. Ron Stone from the New York Giants. Being a conference guy, Ron and I had some great games against each other and really enjoyed playing against him. And so, there's a lot of guys, man. It's this league isn't made up of slouches. So
you got one slouch that you love playing against that you thought this was easy money. Easy money. You gotta give me that guy.
Yeah, man. I don't. That's not my thing, man. That's why I never went into commentary. That's why I just can't talk down on players, man. I think guys have all had, again, you're talking alpha males, man. There's some really good players, and even the guys that you think are garbage are really good players. They're still the 1% of players that played in college, and so I've never been a guy that I'm going to bash anybody. That's just not who I am.
All right. Do you still hate the Cowboys?
Absolutely. Yes. I will never ever be a Cowboy fan. I can't even. Yeah, my disdain for the Cowboys is much like my disdain for the Florida Gators. It's just never going to be a thing.
Who'd you hate more out of the Giants and the Redskins?
Oh gosh, the Giants, because the Giants had that run on, if, just before I got there, and even during that first year that I was there, man, the Giants were on a run. Um, God bless, rest, Jim Fossil and everything that he brought. We just lost him recently, and but the teams that he put out on the field, Tiki Barber was a flipping just. I hated playing against Tiki, man. He was just a dominant force out there. Could run the ball, and so strong, so quick, so fast. But I hated playing against the Giants. We had some really, really tough games, but we managed to kind of get a hold of the reins and made a good run for a number of years against that Giants organization. But they were a tough one. They were a really tough one.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who was the hardest guy to tackle back in your playing day when you had to tackle?
Man, we saw a lot of Tiki. That was the guy because we played so much. I mean, that one year, heck, we ended up playing him 3 times. So I think that was in was 02, 02 or 03. We ended up playing him 3 times, man. He was just you know each other so well. One, they're already in your division, and two, and it's just that's a hard. But Tiki was hard. He was a hard guy to tackle. I'm trying to think of some of the other running backs that played, that were tough. Golly, what was the running back down in Atlanta at the time? Ran really hard. Oh gosh,
what was his name? No,
the Dirty Bird, the dance.
Yeah, Jamal Lewis.
Jamal Lewis was another
big,
one.
Right?
Yeah.
He looked like a monster on TV. I tell you that much.
He was so thick, man. He was just, it was a tough guy to kind of get your hands around, and so he was another one, man. It was some tough running backs. That was a different time. So the guys, they didn't mind pounding the ball. We ran off a bunch against Dallas. So Emmett. Emmett was on the way out when I came in, and so having that opportunity to kind of lay a lick on him, being a Florida guy, that was a lot of fun. But there's some tough guys.
Yeah, man. Back in those days, man, we definitely had the line that could handle it. Though we were laying them out left and right. I miss all the old school, body bag type games where the Eagles, every time you turn around, you're laying somebody out. You see him on the ground, like, yeah, that's my team, man.
Man, we had some heavy hitters. I mean, gosh, that hit that Sheldon Brown put on Reggie Bush, man. Listen, we had, and you can't, I talk about Bobby and Troy and Al, but Sheldon Brown and Lito Shepherd, man, when they came in, and Mike Lewis, when they came in as rookies, man, really stepped up and really took that banner, and ran with it, man. So we had some guys that would hit you, and then of course Jeremiah Trotter just in the middle, just really controlling the flow, man. It's just we had some guys that have put
Trotter, man. I miss Trotter too, man. Yeah. The first go around Trotter, the second go around was good, but the first go around Trotter was definitely the man. He's definitely one of my all time favorite.
Well, he's got two sons right now that are complete studs. That one's going to Clemson, and then another one is going into, I think, his senior year in high school.
Clemson
the next generation, the next generation of Trotters can lay it out too, man. He's got some.
Is he as big as Trotter was?
You know what? I think. No, not as big as Trot. Not as big. A little bit taller, but not as big as Trot.
But he can lay that wood though.
He's got some studs. Some studs.
Man, that's awesome. Now everybody gets to know. Check out Clemson, little Trotter coming. Maybe 2 more years we can get him on the team. Get him on the team.
I see one of your folks. Yeah, Jamal Lewis was that was the one that came from University of Tennessee. He was tough too from the Ravens.
Sean Alexander's.
Yes. Sean Alexander, another guy, Alabama Crimson Tide guy. So yeah, man. There was some strong cats, man. There were some strong running backs in the league back then, and still are. But just like
Derrick Henry.
My experience on it. Yes.
I had to tackle Derrick Henry today, man.
Yes, that is a grown man.
Monster.
Listen, I see that picture of him standing against Ingram on when Alabama played for the championship, And,
Mm-hmm.
and just seeing the size difference of those guys, man, he's a defensive tackle out there playing running back.
Right, and he got the speed too. You know what I'm saying? Did you see what he did to Norman? He stiff armed Norman, made him look like a
Yes,
little kid. I was
man,
like, what's going
knocked
on
his
here?
soul out.
Norman's a pretty good corner. He just looked very silly on that one.
Yeah, that's
Don't
big.
forget Curtis Martin victory. Said Curtis Martin was back in those days too,
Yeah, he
man.
was. Yes, yes, man. Listen, there is a laundry list of excellent running backs that played in the early 2000s. Man, it was the game was. I mean, the running backs were the guys, man. Now the game has changed a lot, a lot more, and they're still excellent running backs in the league, no question. They're a little bit more, I think, versatile now,
Mm-hmm.
as pass catchers. But by and large,
With,
we really had some guys that we played against.
with Donnie, were you on the all five, right? The 4 or 5 times in the NFC Championship. We went like
Yes.
5 times in a row. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what was that feeling when you guys finally broke through? Like, how do you
Oh
take
man,
that day, man?
you know what, man? It is it's one of those things like anything when you hit your head up against the wall so many times and just not able to get through, and then you finally get that opportunity, man. It's like all the work was, all the hard work, all of the extra hours at the office, man, putting in film study, and all of it becomes worth it, right? That's I have this saying that I tell people all the time. It's like, players fall in love with the process, and fans fall in love with the prize.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, that's what it's about, man. It is the grind, right? It's the ability to embrace the suck,
Yeah.
and for us, that's why that's why it makes it so much more gratifying, right? When I look back at my career, it's the process. That's what I think about. I was fortunate enough to win a national championship at Florida State University, and I really can't remember the celebration part of it. Right? It was all about what we had to go through to get there, and it's the same way in my time in Philadelphia. I don't. I vaguely remember how we celebrated winning the NFC Championship and going to the Super Bowl. It was more so about, man, this was the grind. This was the off season. This was all of the countless hours. It was getting home at 7, 8 o'clock at night because you're still over at the facility watching film and breaking down. And, it's those types of things that, and the mental makeup of our team. Those are the things that really got us to that point. It was, the chemistry that we had. That's why we had all the success. I mean, it was just everything that came in, with Andy and Tom Modrak putting together that team, and the coaching staff that he surrounded us with, and understanding the great thing that Andy did was he allowed players to be who they were, right? Whatever your personality was, he encouraged it. He didn't try and put you in a box and make you become something that you weren't. And so for me, that was a whole lot of fun, man, playing in a system like that, where it allowed you to kind of be yourself.
Nice. And then we got another question for you. Who did you carve your game after, or were you that's just Corey?
You know what? I am and always will be a huge Brian Young fan. That was the guy for me. Brian Young played a long time for the San Francisco 49ers, played at Notre Dame. I love watching Brian Young play. And so I tried to take a little from him. I tried to take a little from Johnny Randall, and you try and steal little pieces. Sapp, of course, watching his game, Russell Maryland guys, it is, I tried to kind of steal a little bit from those guys' game, but Brian Young was the guy for me. That was my fangirl moment, getting a chance to play against him and meeting him, man. It was when we played out in San Francisco, the first time I met him, and the fact that after the game, he walked up to me and he said, well, I enjoy watching you play, man. That was that for me. That was, I didn't care about, Troy Aikman's. I didn't care about the man. It was, I met John, I met Brian Young, and
Right.
and he knew who I was, man. It was that to meet guys that like, man, I ran in the locker room, told Hugh Douglas, man, Brian Young talked to me, man. It was
What
that,
you
man.
say
It was
to
that.
you?
man, and that was really the only fan moment I've ever had, man.
You have to
I
play with some
really
great
enjoyed
guys,
watching him play.
you know.
Absolutely, I played with some great guys, but
Mhm.
meeting him, because I used to watch how he and Dana Stubblefield used to get
Yeah.
after over in San Francisco, and so you know, getting a chance to meet him was an honor.
Yeah. Do you ever
And
tell
I love
Hollis?
the way he did it off the field.
You ever tell Hollis, this is who we need to be like? These guys right here. It's us right here. We the next ones.
You know what? I think we did a pretty good job, man. I think we did a pretty good job, man. It's but yeah. Him and Brian Young and Dana Stubblefield, they were man child, man. They were a beast in San Fran.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. They said, when you stopped playing, did you ever get that itch again? Basically,
No, not one day, not
after
ever.
the day, after
Yeah, yeah.
retirement, that was the last day.
Listen, I was in Tennessee when I retired, and it was halfway through the season, and I woke up one morning after kind of going to work every day trying to figure it out, and quite honestly, kind of being in tears, just trying. Like, my body just wasn't responding the way it used to, and I was miserable just because of the pain that I was in, and the day I woke up and I rolled over and told my wife, I was like, "This is the day I'm retiring." And when I drove home after I made the announcement that I was done, man, I hadn't looked back. I had not looked back. I loved it. I loved my time. What I took an opportunity and made it a career, and I loved it, but I was ready to go.
Let's see. Big Six says, would you say losing the NFC Championship game to the Bucks on an interception, return for a touchdown, and closing out Vet Stadium with the loss that have been? I've been your worst. Would that
Yeah,
have been your worst loss?
uh, you know, that was a tough one. That absolutely was a tough one. Closing out the vet without being able to bring a championship, that was a hard loss, man. But for the competitor, like for me, every loss sucked. I came from a program here at Florida State University that we never lost, so every loss stung, and I never got used to losing. Um, and it's still a problem, right? I don't like to lose now at anything. You know, my son's 18 years old. We went outside and played horse a couple days ago, and I am unrelenting. I'm going to give it to you still. Um, so yeah, losing never appealed to me at all. Was always tough, but that was a tough one, no question. I think the one that stung even more was losing the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Did Donnie get any slack for that after that Super Bowl for getting sick?
listen, man. One guy doesn't lose a game.
Mhm.
There's always 70, 80, 90 other snaps that we could have, you know, done something different to change the outcome. So one guy doesn't folks like to focus on one player, or that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. One, we're not in that position without Donovan McNabb.
Mhm.
We're not playing in Jacksonville for a championship.
Mhm.
So that's how I look at, it's not like track, right? Where it's just mano a mano. I mean, it's a team game, and so we had several opportunities to change the outcome of that game, and it just didn't happen.
Mhm. Yeah, man. That was a rough one. That was a rough one, man. We were all sitting there. Come on, you got this. You got this. But hey, we won one now. So now, were
Yeah.
you there for the Super Bowl or
No, I wasn't. I
watching it?
wasn't. I absolutely was watching it. I
Hmm.
absolutely was watching
But
it.
you
But
weren't
no,
in Philadelphia.
was that?
I said you didn't go to the Super Bowl.
No, I didn't. I don't go to many games. For me, the best seat in the house has always been in my house. So it's, having to deal with all of that. I'm not. I don't really enjoy going to games all that much. I much rather watch them at home and be able to root and whatever, boo, and all that other stuff in my house. So.
Did you feel like you were a part of it, like you won 1-2 with the team, like with us
Oh,
family?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, man. And shoot, and the good thing is, I was able to get up there that year the team had me in for the Cardinals game as the honorary captain,
Yeah.
and so getting a chance to come in and get a chance to see some faces and Fletch and my boy Timmy Jernigan and seeing Doug and all those guys, man. So it was a lot of fun to see that team, and I knew it was going to be something special, and it turned out that way. So I absolutely watched, but no, man, I don't.
So you haven't been to one game?
That was the last game that I've been to. The year we won the championship, I came to the Cardinal game.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna try and get back up there. I think October 3rd they play Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
And so I may try and get into town for that one, and check that one out.
Have you talked to Andy since then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Still talking with Andy?
I do. We talked a few weeks ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Big Red. So in that game, you're still gonna be cheering for us, right? I know that's your coach.
Oh, absolutely. You listen, it's one of those games where you kind of sit on your hands. You know, with whoever wins that game, I'm not gonna be mad. You know, Andy brought me in. Andy had enough faith in me to make me the sixth pick in the 2000 draft, and so and he saw me through some tough times. And so I will always have the utmost respect for that man and wish him all the best, because he saw me through some tough times in my life, and he put his arm around me when life got tough. So you can't just walk away from that. That there are certain things that are bigger than the game.
Yeah, I love Andy, and I root for him to win every game unless it's against the Eagles. That's one I'm ready for you to take that L. I think he's been beating us. We need Andy to take that L, man. We need Andy to take that L. He's still mad at us, man. He's still mad.
No, man, that's not how it operates, man. That's not Andy.
So Richie said, did you ever consider coaching?
I did a little bit of coaching here when I retired. My son wanted to play, and so I did. Part of what I also do is I run the Pop Warner program here in the Big Bend area. So I'm the president of the conference here, overseeing 6 associations in the area. But I coached, did a little bit of coaching Pop Warner wise, and we got a chance to coach my son to a championship down to Disney, and then I coached in middle school. So I coached on the middle school staff and for a couple of years, and then I was a high school coach for a couple of years. But that coaching for me is not a passion. I enjoy watching young people enjoy the game and learn it the right way. Mm-hmm. But I always, it is what it is. I feel like the game is passed me by a little bit, and I'm okay with that. I really don't. I don't engage in it the way I used to. I still love the game, no question about it. But I never felt like coaching was my calling from that standpoint.
Yeah, the side of the coaching thing, head coach, defensive coach. What did you do?
I was a defensive and offensive line coach.
Oh, nice.
And then I was a head coach with the youth sports in Pop Warner. I was a head coach, but.
I know you say your son played. Did he play defensive line too?
He was a D tackle.
Number 90?
No, man. He was, he was what number did he wear this season? 58. He was 58. Yeah. No, he didn't want to wear the number 90, and quite honestly, I didn't want him to wear it. 90 and 53 for me were my numbers. 53 here, and I still live in Tallahassee. So 53 was the number that I played in Florida State. And, my son is already named after me, and we call him CJ, but the expectation to be the son of a former NFL player and being here at Florida State is a lot to carry. And so I never wanted him to feel the responsibility of carrying it. So
was he big? Was he a big boy?
He's a big guy. He's about 260, but he didn't get my height, so he's a little shorter. He's a little bit shorter.
I'm sure he was still a beast on that field when he did play, though.
When he felt like it.
Did you ever find yourself on the sideline, son? Do this, do that.
Oh yeah, I've been that dad before. I calmed down the last year or two, but So his junior and senior year, let him kind of do his thing. But I've been that dad before. So I had to kind of back off and allow him to do his thing, and consequently our relationship was better because of it, and I enjoyed watching him play, and I think that was most important. He had a dad that was supportive and just loved watching him be out there.
Awesome. Well, I like to do these type of things here at the end of my show. I like to go for your all-time Eagles team. You
Oh
know,
gosh,
yes, from all
man.
the you can use any era you want to make this team up. But I try to get it from everybody, man. You can help me out with that. And we start with the offense. Who you think is your favorite two quarterbacks that played in that Eagle Green?
Shoot. Donovan one, Cunningham two.
There we go. Three running backs. Go.
Oh man. Whew. Oh, Biner, Deuce, Westbrook.
Nice. Two tight ends.
Whew. Golly. Oh man. I think the Chad Lewis and who I love Chad Jackson.
Jackson. Nice. Four
Man,
receivers.
oh gosh, man, you're making this too hard. My mind doesn't even work that well anymore, man. Golly.
See, the good thing is we got so many good players, it should make it less easy. You know what I'm saying?
Harold Carmichael, Quick, T.O. Oh, oh man. I don't know. I don't know who the fourth one is.
D-Jax. Did he make a list?
D Jackson make the list. He can make the next. He can make the list for me.
Starting offensive line.
Oh gosh. Oh, Trey Thomas, Lane. Oh, Kelsey. Good guard. Jay Berry at guard. And shoot, I gotta say Brandon Brooks.
Brooks, yes, that everybody get that right side that we have down, saying that definitely is.
Yeah. That is.
I like Ryan on my list. I like
John
Ryan.
John was great. John was a great player, but man, golly, Lane is probably the most athletic guy I've seen play right tackle in a long time. So you got to give him his flowers, no question.
JPP, he was definitely good too.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm a Trey. Trey's a Noel. Trey's a
That was
teammate.
my left tackle,
Trey was
Trey
a beast.
Thomas,
Trey
baby.
was a
That's
beast.
old school. That's JPP before he was before
Yeah,
he was Eagle, man.
yeah.
Defensive line, and I know you're gonna throw yourself on this one.
Oh, absolutely.
So we
Me
got
and
Corey in the middle. Give me the other three guys with you.
so I'm taking the guys that I ran with, man. It's me, Hugh Hollis, and shoot, me, Hugh Hollis, and
White, you gonna get Reggie White on the list?
yeah, Reggie's on the list. Reggie's absolutely on the list. But I love the guys that I play with, man. And I'm being
You
partial.
know what? You shouldn't even put Reggie in.
Jerome,
You should just go ahead and put in Hugh Douglas, man. 'Cause
Hugh
I don't think
Hugh
he
is
made
my
this on my little thing, man.
yeah. I'm being partial. No, these are not the greatest players that have
Oh,
ever
this
played in
is
the
your
area, but these are my
your team.
guys, and I rock with my guys, and of course Reggie is he and Jerome Brown are
Mhm.
you can't come on. Yeah, I mean, you really can't even leave Fletcher off it. But just
Clyde
I'm with
Simmons.
my guys. Clyde was a beast. I mean that early '90s team was absolutely insane.
Mhm.
That was just nasty. Uh, you know,
And if you wasn't
one,
you, we wouldn't be leaving Fletch out. But we had to put
no,
you there. You know what I'm saying?
I can't leave myself off the list. I just ain't gonna do that. I'm just not built that way. No.
What about the linebackers? Give me the three linebackers.
Whew, man, golly, Trot's on there. Man, Carlos is one of those guys that not a lot of people understood just the impact that he played. Carlos Emmons on Jim's defense, man. Carlos was a stud, man. But there's been a lot, and it's just not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. But the guys that I played with, man, I wouldn't substitute him for anybody.
Are you doing that with the whole defense? Are we going Dawkins and
Oh, there's the secondary. You don't even have to ask. There's that.
you got 4 corners for the secondary. I mean,
Yeah,
three. Those,
I'm going to
those.
take. I'm going to rock with Bobby Taylor. I'm going to rock with Lito. I'm going to rock with Al Harris. I'm going to rock with Troy.
Nice. And then your safeties too. You said.
Yes, yeah. Doc is my guy.
And
That's
the
my
other one, who's playing back there with him?
Malcolm.
Ooh, he went to school with Malcolm.
I rock with Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
Lewis didn't make it, buddy. He didn't make it this cut. I like Lewis, man. He was good, man.
No, man. Listen, it's off the top of my head and just some of the. It's been a lot of great players. That's the great thing about playing for the organization, man. There's constantly been just an abundance of talent that have come through that organization, man. I'm forever grateful for the opportunity to not only play in the NFL but play for that Philadelphia Eagles. The passion of the crowd, the fans are bananas. They always treat me well when I come back, man. I'm forever grateful for embracing me as a Florida boy coming up there in the Northeast, man, and getting a chance to play for such a passionate fan base. I mean, it's one of the highlights of my life, getting an opportunity to be in that city and being a part of the success that we had as a team.
Give me your prediction on the Eagles' record this year. We got 17 games, man. Give me the Corey Simon prediction.
Now I gotta look up. Now I gotta look up the schedule.
Take your time and look at it. Look at it. Check it out. I said before today, I had the Birds going 12-5. After today, I changed it to 13-4.
Okay, so let's jump right into the season. First game. So keep the count for me.
Okay, here we go.
So we got the Falcons' first game. We got that.
Bam.
We got San Francisco.
Bam.
We got Dallas.
Bam.
We don't win Chiefs. We'll beat the Panthers. Yeah, that Buccaneers game is going to be a tough one. I don't think we get that one. Even though it's at home, I don't think we beat Tom Brady and that crew. But we beat the Raiders and the Lions and the Chargers and the Broncos. Whoo, that Saints game is going to be a tough one.
With no Drew Brees?
Listen, I think they have a better quarterback. I think Jameis Winston will be a better quarterback than Drew was this year. I think what Jameis brings now, I'm hopeful that he's learned his lessons from a turnover standpoint. Jameis has been a bit of a gunslinger, much like Brett Favre was in his day. But I think we pulled that one off against the Saints.
Okay.
We get the Giants. That's a tough one. I don't know. I think we may lose that one. I think we may take that on the chin. We beat the Jets. Ron has Washington playing well. I'm curious to see what that quarterback situation is going to be like. But it's in Philly, so it's a toss-up. Then the Giants, then Washington. So I think we split those. And then Cowboys at the end, which I'll never say the Cowboys will win a game against us. So
yes. You're right there at it. You only had like 3 losses on there.
No, realistically, I think we take it on the chin in 5. I think we lose 4 games.
So you said 12-5 too, baby.
I think
it was 14-3, but they were going to take it on chin a couple of extra losses, which I respect. And I say that I had it right all along. I'm glad you agree. Eagles are going 12-5 this year. Mark it down. It's going to happen, man. It's been a blast.
It's all based on if we can stay healthy, man. I think Hurts can bring a lot to the table. I like to see him bring in another quarterback at some point in time, just to kind of you want to have that competition there. But or a veteran. Have a veteran guy, another veteran guy in the locker room.
What do you think
But
about the talk of Watson or Aaron Rodgers?
nah, man, listen, I don't see Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron wants out, man, but what the Eagles would have to give up to get Aaron Rodgers? Nobody's giving away quarterbacks.
We ain't never had 3 draft picks in the first round before, as far as I can remember. I want to see what we can do, build on. Instead of one player, when I think Hurts is gonna, Jalen Hurts gonna be a stud this year. It's like, why even trade away those 3 picks for a guy? For any one guy. You keep Hurts there. You add 3 new pieces to the team. 4 good players out of the top 50 to the roster next year, and whoo.
Listen, anytime you have a chance to get an Aaron Rodgers, you absolutely jump on that. He is the greatest quarterback in the league right now, hands down.
You would give all 3 picks up for Aaron?
Absolutely.
Even if Jalen Hurts has a good season?
Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers.
He's old though.
Who? What? He's what? Did you just not see the 44-year-old guy win a Super Bowl?
I'm not saying that, but he's not the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we get him,
did you just not
for 2 years, maybe listen, 3
Philadelphia is about winning. It's about winning now, right? They don't care about what you did in the past, right? It's about winning now. Aaron Rodgers gives that team. You get an Aaron Rodgers on that team, like nobody's going to talk about Green Bay this year if Aaron Rodgers isn't on that team. Aaron Rodgers is the GOAT.
Yeah, he is a GOAT.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
New England just made that mistake. New England just bet that Tom Brady was done. He just won a Super Bowl.
Hold on a New England thing, because half of New England team didn't even play last year, so you don't really still know if it was just Tom Brady. Because remember the year Tom was out, they still won 11 games. They won 11 games without Tom. Belichick and that defense, you know what I'm saying? I'm not, Tom is top 5 to me. He's top 5. He's not number 1 though.
He's not number 1. I think the number 1 guy is the guy that I'm talking about. I think Aaron Rodgers may be the most talented quarterback to play in this league. Ever.
Even over Peyton.
Ever. I didn't stutter. I played with Peyton. I didn't stutter.
A-Rod, number 1. I like it though. That's definitely a fair argument. That's definitely fair.
I mean, he just came off of. You talk about his age, but he just came off of a season where he was, an MVP season.
Yeah, hey, I know. I'm just saying, like, if we trade 3 young players on our team next year that we could possibly have to keep our
possibly. We're not playing spades. We're playing football. This isn't about a possible. This is about a Hall of Fame GOAT.
So right now, you would do it. Just like, okay, Green Bay, you would accept these 3 first-round picks. Fact, bring Aaron here right now, and we'll give you Jalen Hurts.
All day. All day.
Oh, man. What happens if Hurts takes us to the playoffs next year? Would you do it next year?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, man. No matter what, you said Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
All right. It's a fair argument, though. He is the GOAT. He is a GOAT.
This is not a knock on Jalen Hurts. This is all about what Aaron Rodgers is.
You think with the roster we had, if we did that move this year, we can be Super Bowl contenders?
Aaron is one with less in Green Bay.
He has the best receiver in football.
Now, Devontae Adams has not always been the guy.
Who else did he have? Who else?
Exactly.
Wait, I was thinking Sharp, but
Jennings?
Sharp is too early.
Exactly. You really can't even name. You can't name 5 receivers that played in Green Bay while Aaron Rodgers was there.
That's
true. He is that guy.
He is that guy. Yeah, all right. You got me there, man. You got me there. You had me stuck, and I'm thinking, who is Aaron Rodgers? But Devontae Adams is a beast. He is a beast.
Yes, he is. He absolutely is. And that's why Devontae Adams is having a problem now with negotiations. I mean, you You can't get Aaron. You can't promise me Aaron Rodgers.
You can't promise me on the team.
That's the guy. Like you can't steal my guy.
They're saying like if Aaron goes, he wants to go play in Vegas.
Man, listen. He's a Cali guy, so I get that. But
And his old teammate Carr played there.
Listen, the guy is what he is. He is the GOAT. He is. I have never seen a more talented quarterback in this league than Aaron Rodgers.
So give me your top 5 quarterbacks, Ted. If you got Aaron number 1, who's number 2, 3, and 4?
Brady's 2, Montana's 3, Peyton's 4, Breeze is 5.
Nice. That's a good list. Yeah. That's a damn good list. Except for, I like it. I like Dan Marino.
Marino's 6.
Yeah, there you go. Marino. I was like, that's what I was thinking. Like, forget about Marino, man.
No. I don't forget about Marino. And he may be 5.
Yeah, right.
I'm a Florida boy. I grew up down in South Florida. I grew up a Miami Dolphin fan when I was a kid, and so you know that's I got to see that up close and personal. Marino was the guy.
Give me your top 5 DTs.
Man. Whew. Man. So Sapp's on there. And these are in no order. These are not in any order. Johnny Randall's on there.
Young, right? You said Young was a
Bryant Young is absolutely on there.
Uh-huh.
Aaron Donald is on there.
Oh, you put Donald on there.
Oh, absolutely. Are you not putting Aaron Donald on the list?
Oh, he on the list. He on the list for sure. He on the list.
Whew. Man, I don't know what I put in there. I don't. Golly. I mean, there's some old school guys that I put on there, but just from a new age standpoint, those are my 4.
Those are 4. And then since you didn't pick the 5th, we're gonna go ahead and throw Corey Simon right there. Number 5.
No, man. Listen. I have a lot of. I am nobody, no means in that conversation.
Man, Corey, come on.
There's a lot that goes in that talk, man. I'm not in that conversation. I appreciate it, thank you, but that's not. No. I'm not delusional. You know, I understand that. You know, I had a good 5-year run. The guys that are on this list here been able to do it for umpteen years at a very high level. So yeah, I'm not delusional.
Rodgers and head of Cox know this, man.
Listen, hey,
how far do you think the difference is between them? Like how far do you are you measuring?
Between Donald and Fletch?
Yeah, because I see Donald's just a better pass rusher. Eric's Cox is a better run stopper.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I also think when I do the comparisons, I also like to see, okay, what would Fletch be in their offense in LA, and what would Aaron be in the offense in Philly? And Aaron's that guy. He's that guy. I'm sorry.
He would have been that guy on anybody's squad.
Yeah, in any squad in any era, that he is just that guy.
You can line him up with any 4 linemen, and he's gonna dominate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He man. And at his size, I mean, being quote unquote undersized, the guy is just a guy.
Really though? Yeah, I guess so, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't 6'4". He may be 6'1". 6'1" and some change. I mean, we're probably about the same height. Yeah,
he is ripped though. Look like a linebacker.
Oh man, he's less than 300 pounds. He plays about 290, 295. strong, physical, great hands, exceptional quickness. Man, he is a bona fide baller.
What's the biggest you ever played at?
Gosh, shoot, I was 330 when I got to India. Man, I got really out of shape. That was my Achilles heel. I got way too big and you know,
Was all them cheesesteaks?
man, no, it wasn't the cheesesteaks, man. It was, I it
Oh
wasn't a cheesesteak. I was never really a big cheesesteak fan, quite honestly, man. It was
man.
them darn chicken cutlet joints over at Tony Luke's.
Oh wow. Jock said, what was the most you've ever bench pressed or squatted?
Oh gosh, bench 485. My game was speed. My game was, it was all about quickness. So bench was 485, and then squat. Man, I never squatted a lot. Like put a lot of weight on. Like I just don't believe in that. I've always been a guy understanding the game is about reps. It's not about a one-time strength deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know the videos, all of that stuff looks good,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a reason why the NFL, they do 225 for reps, right? It's because you don't do just one rep in a game. It's over and over and over again. So I don't know. I've never put more than 550 pounds on a squat rack and tried to squat it.
Okay. Okay. Hey, that's your answer there, man. That is the answer. What was your 40 time?
I was a 4.68 guy.
Dang, that's fast. That's fast, boy. That has to be up there with some of the best linemen right there. You know what I'm saying?
It was my game. I was. That's the game down in South Florida, man. When you grow up down here, man, you got to be able to run.
So you're born in 42?
Yeah.
Oh, so Tallahassee, just you've always been there.
No, Tallahassee is where I came to go to school, and I decided to make this place home. No, I grew up down in South Florida, down in the Pompano Beach area, down in Broward County.
Okay.
So probably about 6.5 hours from here.
How you like the weather there? You guys
It's
have a
hot,
lot
man.
of tornadoes, man. Or that
Uh,
was
hurricanes.
hurricane, man. Yeah.
I've been here my whole life, man. Outside of my playing career, when I was, up north and in the Midwest, but for the most part, I've been in Florida my whole life, man. There's this guy that I follow on TikTok called what is it, OMG? It's Wicks, and he talks about Floridians and hurricanes. Man, and unless it gets to 4, we don't really change how we rock around here.
For real? Y'all just chilling? You're like, oh, it's too windy outside,
We built different. We built different. That's why the best players that's why the best football players in the world come from Florida.
Like in Cali, everybody like out here, but I'm used to seeing all these like tornadoes and stuff. And I'm like, dude, they're like, man, but in California you had all them earthquakes. Like, well, earthquakes aren't even bad. It is a bunch of shaking. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you're like, something might fall on you or something like that. If you're in not so good of a building, but I've been in the Northquake. I was the Northridge quake. I was in that one, and that wasn't that bad. Just a bunch of shaking. But tornadoes, on the other hand, man, I'm scared of those a little bit.
Tornadoes. Listen, that's the part about hurricanes that you get fearful for, man. It's the tornadoes, because you don't get a whole lot of advance notice with tornadoes. They just pop up. They just pop up, man. And, you're lucky if you get 15, 20 minutes.
So you guys have that hurricane alarm set off. You hear it going off there. You guys got the
No. You don't hear hurricane alarms. That hurricanes, you see them coming, right? You see it out in the ocean. You kind of see the path. We just had Hurricane Elsa that came through a couple weeks ago. You see it coming, so it's not.
You gonna get down into the little attic, or what do you call it, the storm shed?
No, man, we ain't got no storm sheds, man.
What?
No, we don't have basements. We don't have storm sheds here in Florida. You hunker down and you have hurricane parties if it ain't too crazy.
Oh man, awesome! As I was looking at it come, here it comes. Yeah, we ain't going nowhere, baby.
You get your water, you get your flashlights out, you get your gasoline, get ready for your generator, and board up your windows if you need to, and you hunker down and get ready.
All right. Well, hey man, it was an honor having you on the show today, man. I won't take up too much of your time, and And I just want to thank you guys for watching with us. Everybody in the chat, much love to you guys. What do you say?
Can I get under a 6 in the 40?
Yeah.
Richie, I ain't running fast unless somebody's chasing me.
What do you say? Can you still dunk a basketball?
No, man, I ain't leaving the ground. Listen, unless I'm in an airplane. Listen, there's some unnecessary stuff these days, man. My vert used to be off the chains now. I used to be able to get up, but now, man, listen, I got a back to the basket game now. I use that old, that Moses Malone type skills, man.
That's what you doing, though. You both
Yeah, that's that old
like,
man.
hey,
Yeah, I just
hey,
post up and yeah.
Man,
No more
much
jumping,
love,
man.
man.
That's hard on the knees.
Thanks for coming on the show today, man. It's been an honor, having you up here. I hope much success for all your business adventures that you're doing, and I can't say nothing else, man. That's about it, man. That's good.
Appreciate you having me. Man. Appreciate you having me.
And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Hit that like, hit that subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Once again, thank Corey Simon for coming to the show. And like I always say, fly, Eagles, fly. Till next time, Bird Gang, we out.